Welcome to Blockchain Security Series, the podcast where the future of Web3 security unfolds. Presented by pablito.eth.
Hello and welcome. I am Pablo Sabbatella, your guide through the intricate and evolving world of blockchain security. Each episode we dive deep into the heart of Web3, bringing you face-to-face with the pioneers and key players shaping the blockchain security ecosystem. Hello everyone and welcome to the Blockchain Security Series, episode 13. Today we have a very special guest, Pashov. He's the founder of Pashov Audit Group, a security auditing company. So, hello and welcome. How are you?
Hello, Pablo. I'm doing great today. Very happy to be here and chat with you.
Okay, yeah, it's a pleasure to have such a legend from the security ecosystem here. So we have many things to talk about, but I want to start with your early days and your background, right? Because now you're a star, I would say, in the auditing field in blockchain security. But I want to know, like, from very young, how did you get started into computers, programming, and security?
Sure. Yeah, I have told this story a few times, but I will tell it again, maybe a shorter version. Basically, since I was a kid, back in first grade, I started doing well with maths. So between first and fourth grade, I did a lot of math competitions, but didn't have a computer back then. Then at the start of fifth grade, my parents bought me a computer. I started playing video games, losing time on the internet, stuff like this. Then fast forward to eighth grade, I was doing mostly sports, doing nothing related to maths. But I had this informatics class in high school twice a week. And we were doing a bit of programming there, some C++. So this started being interesting to me. It was like a nice brain challenge. And I started solving some very basic tasks, sorting arrays, stuff like this. And I found it interesting. So yeah, I decided to pursue programming and IT because I also knew that you can make a nice career out of it, to have a good lifestyle. And I started after high school. I went to university studying again informatics, and I studied for 2 years. Then found myself my first job as a developer. I wrote some Java back then, and yeah, I changed a few companies. Went to work for Nexo, which is maybe the biggest crypto company in Bulgaria. Which is a product company, not a consultancy or a service-based company. They are building a few products. The most notorious one right now is their decentralized exchange, probably. Not decentralized, centralized exchange. But yeah, I was actually part of this team who built this exchange. It was very fun. I learned so much about finance, about crypto. And wrote so much code. I wrote Java, React, play with the database. Basically, I was doing full stack work. And yeah, one of my colleagues quit out of a sudden, even though we had great working conditions there. And he said he's going to become a blockchain developer. So I started looking into this. I looked into Ethereum and Solidity, started reading the Mastering Ethereum book, and then I just jumped in the rabbit hole, and I started spending all of my free time just learning crypto. And after a few months, there was a new team in Nexo that did some DeFi stuff. I joined this team on the side, and after maybe 6 or 7 months, I joined a Web3 as a Web3 developer full-time, a crypto company who was building a DeFi product. So yeah, this was basically my path from first grade until being a senior crypto developer, like Solidity developer. But yeah, I was developing. I wrote a staking contract or something. Then we got an audit, and it didn't go as planned. I mean, I had a high severity issue, I'm pretty sure, and it was like just 200 lines of code. So it was a bit embarrassing for me. And I also learned about Coderina back then. So I started looking into this. I started watching Andy Lee's YouTube videos. And yeah, I decided to start to try a Coderina contest. I made $20 or $19 on my first contest. And from then until now, it has been pretty much 24/7 security stuff.
Nice. Two questions regarding what you just said. The first one is you said you read Master in Ethereum from Andreas Antonopoulos.
Yes.
What do you think about that book today? Because Ethereum evolved a lot from the time of that book, right? So it's a book that you will still recommend for someone that is getting into Ethereum and wants to get to know more about Ethereum, the virtual machine, and how it works? Or you will recommend some other book because too many things have changed?
I would definitely still recommend it. As far as I know, there is some maintenance being done on the book, so the author is updating it here and there. A lot of things are stale, but even those things are good to be known. I mean, maybe it's not the most efficient way, but the book is a bit hard to read at some places, which is very good. I think this is your first challenge in this crypto space is to read this book, and it's a good challenge. I know a lot of people quit on this challenge, so crypto is not for them probably. But yeah, it's a great learning resource. Probably 80% of the book is still very relevant, especially understanding how public addresses are made, how private keys work, how the nodes are speaking to each other, basically, how transactions are made, basics of security. All those things are in this book, and it's all valuable. So I'm recommending it to anybody still.
Excellent. Thank you very much. So we saw all your path, let's say, until you started developing, right, in Web3. So when and why did you decide to switch from developing to security research? Was it related to this fact that this contract that you had written of 200 lines had a high severity when the audit was done? How was that decision?
So there were a lot of factors. One of the factors was this one, that we have gotten an audit. Sorry. Overheard from my bosses that we paid a crazy sum of money to this company that did this audit. It was I can't remember the exact number, but maybe 200K or something like this. I mean, they didn't audit just these 200 lines of code. They audited other code as well. But still, it was such a crazy amount of money. It was my salary was very big as a Web3 developer. This was bigger than my salary, and it was not even a month worth of work. So it was absolutely crazy to me. And first, this thing rang a bell. Then at around this time, for some reason, I am not sure how exactly, but I read the Michel article, How to Become a Blockchain Auditor, I think it was named. This is one of the most famous articles. A lot of people have started with it. He also had another blog post that he explained his goals for the year and his results from Coderina, where he explained that he made $1 million from Coderina or something like this. This also played a big role. And yeah, I knew about Coderina. I did my first contest, I think, 2022, June of 2022, my first contest. And I knew about Coderina probably since February, maybe, I don't know, or March. But first I had a look or two, then I just closed the tab just because I wasn't interested. Then I stumbled upon it a few times more. I read multiple times I read the blog post of Simshow because it was so impressive. And I stumbled upon Coderin again. And then I started watching Andy's videos. I joined Securium Discord. I just started getting more interested into this because the big thing was that some people, it was like a small handful group of people that were making crazy money and not working crazy hours. While as a blockchain developer, for example, especially if you work at a startup, sometimes you have a lot of work. It's very stressful. The requirements are not really understandable, and it's so hard to do a great job, even if you are a great developer or whatever. And money matters. So you're getting a salary that is good. You're getting tokens, but with Web3 security, you're getting paid multiple times more. So I just paid attention. And yeah, basically, I got motivated from Andy's videos, decided to try a contest, and things worked out. But this was the biggest factor, maybe. Simichel's blog posts, Andy Lee's videos, and just the huge sum of money that we paid for an audit, like a six-figure sum of money for less than amount of work. This just didn't make sense to me. Which I immediately understood that I knew there is something that I don't know, so I needed to understand it.
Okay, excellent. I like it. It's quite interesting, all this path. So now let's talk about this role of the independent smart contract auditor, right? In smart contract auditing, several skills are required, right? You have to know how to code, how the blockchain and the EVM works. You have to know about security, auditing frameworks, tooling. So my first question is, do you think that to start auditing code, you have to be a coder? You have to know how to program, right? Before or not? And the second question is, what's your advice for someone that is just getting started into cybersecurity? Where do they have to start, and which is the path that you consider more efficient to learn about them?
Yeah, for the first question, I just looked to empirical evidence, and basically, you can see many people that have not been developers before. They don't know how to code, but are great security researchers. Most of them have started as security researchers, but still there are exceptions to this rule as well. There are people who weren't technical people at all and just went in for the money into Web3 security and are still doing well and have contributed a lot of value, have found a lot of bugs. I have seen this. So basically, it's possible, of course. It doesn't mean it's very probable, but if you have the grit, if you have the motivation, you can do it. I personally am not one of those people because I was a developer before, and most of the people that are successful have been either previously have been developers, but most of them actually have been Web2 security researchers before being a Web3 security researcher. This is what I have noticed. But yeah, it really depends on the particular person. So whatever your background is, you can still make it. Definitely, we have seen it. Second question was what will be my advice for new people, right?
Yeah, what's your advice for someone that wants to start into blockchain security? What do you think is the most efficient path?
Yeah, that's a good question. The most efficient path, I would say, maybe spend 2 full days doing just research, understanding which are the best resources. And the way to do this is not just to ask in DMs on Twitter or anything, but just use Google, use YouTube, use Twitter search as well, and you will find some great resources. Right now, one that is very well maintained and pretty new, and I would recommend is Cyphering Updrafts courses and their platform, because everything is free, everything is brand new, and it's so much good information there. So it's a great fit. Apart from this, there are a lot of other resources, but right now this is the best one probably. Still, before that, you probably need to start with, I would say, Mastering Ethereum is a great fit. You can read it probably in 1.5, 2 weeks, taking your time and absorbing everything. And from then, I don't know, probably you can do a Solidity course, again from Cypher and Updraft, and then move to their Web3 security researcher courses. This will be a very efficient path. When you do their course, probably you'll be ready to find some bugs already on Code Arena or on Code Hawks or on Sherlock. So that's good.
Nice. Yeah, Patrick Collins' contents are great. He uploaded the new course. Updated. It was like 39 hours, I think. Crazy, but yeah, really really valuable information. So then, regarding this learning process, how important do you think it is being a self-taught person in this industry? Do you consider that important or not? And how was your experience?
I wouldn't say it's too important. There are a lot of people coming from Securium, which I don't know if you would call it self-taught, that were part of their first cohort. I have also been part of Y Academy, for example, which is not really that much learning; it's more practice. Teaming up with junior people to practice, and you have some senior people that are helping out. But yeah, it really doesn't matter. I mean, nobody is learning all by himself. He's learning from some videos or from some other type of content that somebody else has written, and is speaking to other people anyway. So yeah, it really doesn't matter. You just need to go through the things, do the research, then do the practice, and you make the money. This is how it works.
Very clear. Now I want to go into the auditing process, right? Can you explain step by step how's your process when you start reviewing new code? Like, you first try to understand what the protocol does on a high level, or you just jump into the code? Like, what's your style?
Yeah, for this question, I think people, when they're junior enough, they put too much weight on this question, and whatever they hear, they want to do the same, which is
Okay,
from one viewpoint is bad, from other is not bad, because you need to try everything and you need to see which is the best fit for you. The best fit for me when I was doing audits, because for the past 6 months I have done zero audits basically, as I have moved to being an entrepreneur in the security space. It was basically just analyze the code line by line, character by character. Start directly with this. First, just have a look at which contracts are big, which are small, if it's a big code base, and make a decision with which contract to start. But yeah, basically just start reading the contract from the license comment, from the license header. Even check this if it's proper, and then the pragma version, then the imports, everything character by character, line by line, very careful. And whenever you understand whenever you see you don't understand some part of the code, then go to the docs, or ask the developers, or do whatever, spend more time into it, or move to another contract and then come back to it. But yeah, this was my way. Not first to analyze and read documentation and only then get to the code. Just directly read the code. And I know a lot of people that do exactly the opposite, and it works for them. So you really have to try out for yourself.
nice. And for you, is it something methodic that it's like always the same and you go through that like some kind of checklist? Or it's more like an art where you need to have some more space for creativity and new ways of thinking? Like, there are some people that do it on paper, for example, with pencil. Like, do you change sometimes?
Not much. I always try to keep whatever I do very simple, very simple, very methodical, without too many steps. As I said, just analyze the code step by step, line by line, character by character. Whenever you feel something is hard, take a step back, analyze it, and continue forward. And yeah, you need to have enough time to be creative, to think about different attack vectors, different ways to hack the contract, but nothing too special. If I print it on paper, it wouldn't make the results better for me.
Nice. Now, something that some people asked when we were talking in Twitter about this interview that we were going to do is regarding income, right? So, how stable is the income for a Web3 security researcher? I think that for surely it won't be the same when they start and after some. So, considering his average or above average in skills, what can you say about income and the different phases, perhaps?
Yeah, this is a very good question, interesting one. So The factors are a lot. It depends if you do security contests or if you do audits, like in a team. For example, in a team of Pashov Audit group, for example, you get usually base pay, predefined base pay before the audit. In contests, it is exactly the opposite. You get $0 guaranteed, and in the end of the contest, based on how many duplicates your findings have and stuff, you get paid a particular sum of money. There is also bug bounty, a lot of different things. Also, when you say you have an average skill set, it depends based on which pool of people is it average. If it's average based on the competitors on Code Arena, who are actually getting ranked, who are not with zero findings, you'll be doing quite well, I would say. You'll be making money that are enough to make a good living in probably every city in the world, apart from the very, very most expensive ones. But you'll be living a good life, but you wouldn't be rich this way. Um, I would say that definitely income varies too much sometimes, really too much, especially in contests. So a lot of people get into a job, a lot of people like for example to get paid upfront, or get their pay decided upfront before the audit to get a base pay. This is a good model for a lot of security researchers, because security researchers usually are more risk averse people, and they like the safer way. They don't like to risk it because they understand the security risks. They might not get paid at all, for example. And with security contest platforms, a lot of things can happen, especially now with escalations. You could have found the best bugs ever, and they can get invalidated. And if you are guaranteed to get paid, for example, with Spearbit's model, if you are a lead security researcher, you get paid $20,000 each week, whatever you do, even if you don't move your finger. I mean, they motivate you. Nobody is just resting, and people are doing good audits. But even if you don't really perform that impressively and don't find critical bugs while other people find critical bugs, you still get paid $20,000. So there, the income is much more stable. Still, it matters. The demand for audits matters a lot. But for the past 5 or 6 months, it has been on the uptrend. Especially last month, I just tweeted out that it has been the strongest ever, in my opinion, ever in crypto. Such a great demand, and a lot of the audits that are being done this month are a result of previous month's demand. So yeah, a lot of factors into this. It's usually unstable, but you can make it more stable, definitely.
And how do you think that it affects the condition of the market, right? When we're in a bear market, when we are in a bull market, and I mean, from your experience, what should researchers do?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's pretty logical. When there is a bull market, a lot more funds get invested into DeFi projects, which means there will be a lot of demand for audits, which means bigger price pots, higher prices, more rewards for security researchers. So basically, a good strategy is when there is a bear market, when there is a bull market, work as hard as possible to stack cash. And when there is a bear market, there wouldn't be that much work anyway. Depends on how good your brand is and everything, how much connections you have built. But yeah, you'll be working less in the bear than in the bull. That's guaranteed, basically. So yeah, just work harder in the bull market, work as hard as possible in the bear market. That's the best strategy ever.
Perfect. Now let's talk a bit about the security space, right? What things have changed in the security space in the last year, do you think? And what things do you think that still remain the same?
Good question. I think a lot of things have changed. I have seen such a great, tremendous progress when it comes to security contest platforms. We have seen now there are maybe 5 or 6 very active platforms nowadays, which is great. All of them have different models. They have different leadership teams, which are pushing for different type of incentive models and stuff. I really like this. Competition is great for any space, especially in crypto, and it's working for the best. Security researchers are getting paid more than better than ever. And I have really seen a great progress in finding bugs, in less hacks when it comes to those type of logic bugs. So that is great. We have seen crazy progress when it comes to this for the past 2 years, hands down. This is obvious to everybody, I would say. When it comes to no progress, nothing changed. Again, it's obvious. This is tooling. Nobody is using any tools still. Fuzzing is doing well. A lot of people have started doing some fuzzing and formal verification as a service. I have seen at least 4 or 5 teams doing this. I don't know if it's good enough of a service to create a whole business out of it, but it is a good complementary thing to have in an audit shop, maybe in a company as mine as well. We still don't do it, but we haven't seen such great demand from teams, from protocol development teams on this, but maybe this will change. Still, the tooling has improved a lot. It has been doing better. It has been helping auditors find vulnerabilities, which is the important thing. So that is impressive. I really respect this. But when it comes to the other tools, especially the static analysis tools, I feel like no progress has been done there. Nobody is saying anything about it. Nobody is really putting a lot of money, effort, attention into it. So yeah, this is a bit of a pity, and we need to do. I mean, we would love to see more progress in this space there.
So in terms of having better security, we need better tooling. And what about people? Like, do you think that we need more auditors, for example?
I think natural selection does a really good job here. Things are moving along quite nicely. A lot of people are joining the space, not too much. We need more. We definitely need more. We need slightly more people joining than the amount that is joining right now. So we need to a bit more people. But this is why there are opportunities for ciphering up draft, for example, to create new courses to attract more people. Everything is happening naturally, and things are doing really well. I have seen so many people join the space in the past 2 years, so many new rising stars on platforms, on audits everywhere. So it's obviously not a problem right now. People are joining. We need more, definitely, but it's not the biggest pain in the world.
Yeah, and we are seeing good efforts like the one from Patrick Collins to do this. So now, on-chain versus off-chain audits, right? How have the incentives mechanisms been evolving, and which one is, in your opinion, the system that works the better for auditors, right? Like Code Arena, Hats Finance, Cantina, Sherlock.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know who is doing on-chain audits. I know Hyacinth are trying to do on-chain audits. I have seen this, but not many others. I don't know. My opinion, I can be 100% honest. I feel like on-chain audits are pretty much a waste of time. It adds a lot of operational overhead, both for the auditors, both for the company, both for the protocol. For everybody is doing a lot of work, and the result is not that good. I mean, nobody will go and check the chain for this. It doesn't really matter that much. We just need to make sure auditors really do a great job. They can just put the commit hash that they have audited, and or a checksum of the files or something, and this can be verified in the on Etherscan or somewhere like this. Our auditors can verify the contracts after they get deployed and put this in the audit. This will also work the same. So this is perfectly fine. So this is what you would call an off-chain audit, but it's perfectly good in my opinion. It has worked so far well so far. We haven't had much problems due to audits being off-chain and not on-chain. Yeah, I mean, this is not a pain to be solved. Nobody is crying about this anyway.
Yeah, totally. Let's not over-engineer things that don't need it.
Yeah.
Now, can you share some advice on how to choose the right audit contest, or what strategy should one adopt, like when making a focus, for example, in saying, I will be focusing DeFi protocols, or I will focus on bridges, or I will focus in zero knowledge. What do you think about both of these topics?
I think that people are very smart in the space, and the pros and cons of each strategy are very obvious to anybody that thinks like 2 or 3 minutes about it. I mean, if you focus only on ZK, of course, you can become the ZK guy and do a lot of SO audits when it comes to this. You can be the guy that gets invited to do some special stuff with companies that build ZK stuff, and you'll be getting paid very well. But what if ZK falls off and it's not really a trend and there is just 2 or 3 companies building it? You cannot have that much demand for your services, so you will be forced to learn other things. So what can I say? Every strategy has pros and cons. You have to choose your own. Mine personally was just do everything. But at some point, after maybe a year, you start thinking that if you have done everything for a year and then specialize into something, this can work really well. Because you'll be able to do everything very, very well, but something you do as a master, for example, lending protocols. And lending protocols is a great target because they have a lot of total value locked usually. They are big targets for hackers, and if you find bugs in such protocols, critical bugs, you get paid very well as a white hat. So this is a good target, good thing to become an expert into. And those protocols usually raise a lot of money and also have a big budget even before deployment for security. So there are multiple ways to capitalize on this skill set. Also, they are complex protocols, so not many people understand them really well. So if you just are the person who decides, I will push through this pain of really understanding lending protocols, you definitely get paid better. Definitely. And when people start learning about this, they'll start reaching out by themselves. This is a good way. But yeah, wasn't my strategy personally.
Nice. Now, we see many companies that when we talk about security, they say, okay, we develop the product, then we have an audit, and having that audit is like everything they do regarding security, right? And something that I read from your website is this thing about having a security partner for the long term, right? So having said that, what are your main recommendations for developers and companies regarding secure software development, right? And in what part of the development cycle should an auditor be involved?
What can I say? I mean, a company's biggest constraints are time and money, and the more that you spend those on security, the better, the more secure you will be. So you have to, as a company founder, you have to decide for yourself. But basically, as early as you can start getting audits, first of all, you should hire really good developers, because developers really make a difference. If you get a developer from Fiverr, trust me, we will find at least 10 critical bugs in probably 100 lines of code. We have done this already. We have seen it. It hasn't worked really well. And if you hire a really good developer, pay him $2,000 a year, and make sure he's really experienced, well trained, has some security knowledge, you save a lot of time from auditors finding low-hanging fruit issues, and let them actually find really hidden critical bugs, which is very useful for any company. And you need less audits before launching, because we have done audits even recently. We have audited a few projects where we find like 10 critical and high severity issues in around 1,000 lines of code, which is just too much. It's too much. And we tell them that they need a second round of audit, almost definitely. I mean, we wouldn't, how can I say, we can't stop them from deploying this code, but we just tell them it is not secure. If we have found 10 critical and high severity bugs in a single week, there certainly are more. And we have done such subsequent audits with such protocols. And really, on the second audit, we found more things. For second audits, it's better to use an entire new auditing team, because they are unbiased. They haven't seen the code. This is an important thing. But yeah, even then, imagine if on the second audit we still found like 10 critical and high severity issues. Those guys would need a third audit. So yeah, this is what I mean by long term. You need to get multiple audits after you deploy your code. Again, after hitting a certain threshold with TVL, it's great to get another audit. Most protocols are building new features, being upgradable. Again, you need new audits, and all teams are building more stuff. I mean, developers are not just sitting on their chairs all day after they deploy. So there are a lot of things to review. So yeah, basically every company needs to work very closely with security researchers. This is very important, but depends on their money. The most important thing is their budget, and yeah, and time is important. How fast do they need to deploy?
Perfect. So you talked a bit about your latest audits. What can you share with us about your latest audits from some major protocols like Ethena, 1inch, or Layerzero?
Yeah, what can I say? Yes, we have worked with such very big clients, all of which have billions of dollars in total value locked, which is such a serious task. Um, it's you have to have great responsibility to be able to audit such projects, because if they get audited, if they lose billions of dollars, this will really break your reputation a lot. It will hurt a lot. I hope it never happens, really. But yeah, what can I say? For each of those projects, we did multiple audits. I think at least 3 or 4 for each of those names. Maybe for 1inch we did just 2. But yeah, it really depends. A company when it becomes big, they hire a lot new developers, a lot more developers, and not all of those developers are perfectly trained. So sometimes even with big names, you can find a lot of things. But yeah, usually code quality for those teams is pretty good. Uh, a lot of the reports actually that we have done have been uploaded already on GitHub, and anybody is free to check them out. And they can see we have found high severity issues as well for some of those protocols, which has been very valuable for them. But yeah, bigger names usually have a lot more money. They have been better and more funded than others, so they can get developers who are better and auditors who are better. So they have better code quality. This is what I can say.
Totally agree. Now let's talk about founding a security company, right? So when, why, and how did you decide to found a security company? To change from being a solo auditor to saying, okay, I have to found a company.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. Basically, yeah, I was a sole auditor. I did over 50 audits by myself, secured over 50 code bases by myself. It was a wild time, around a year of doing sole audits. Such a busy time, working every day, doing research, doing marketing, doing sales, doing the actual auditing, everything. But it was very fun and rewarding. But at some point, maybe 10 months in, I decided that I want to have more impact. I want to do more. I want to audit more projects. I want to make more money. I want to speak to more people, to have more influence in the space. This is good, not just for me, but for the space. I think this is what every business strives to do, to scale, to do more good things. And I was thinking a lot about this, and I saw that the only way to do this, because my time was absolutely full. I was working weekends, I was working 12-hour days very often, almost daily. So it was nuts. And the only way I could scale further, I could do more audits, was to hire people and actually launch a brand, launch a company, because I wouldn't want to tell clients, yeah, this is Pashov that is doing the audit and somebody else to be doing the audit. This would have been scammer stuff. I don't do this. I never done this. So yeah, I basically understood that I need to hire people. And that's what I did back in November. I just announced to some groups that I might be looking to work with some security researchers. Some people pinged me, and I worked with them to this day. and they do audits under the Pashov Audit Group brand. And yeah, actually, I can say that my plan has worked very well because I really scaled. While before my record was maybe 6 or 7 audits in a single month, now we have done 15 or 16 audits in a single month, which is absolutely impossible being alone and to do them in high quality and everything. And yeah, the quality is also better, and even the people who are doing the audits are much better than me. Especially now, I'm not as good as before because this is a muscle that you use it or lose it. But yeah, some guys in the team are crazy. They have 10 years of Web2 security experience before this, pen testing and stuff, and after that 1 or 2 years of Web3 security experience. So there are a lot of hidden gem auditors in the space, really, and this is my mission, to find them and to work with them.
Well, it's when you have the possibility of having people that are way more intelligent or better than what you do working for you or with you, it's great. I think it's a very, very big difference. You just said that you have many people that come from Web2 security and used to do pen testing, for example. So how would you divide or perhaps say that are the or how do you think that they can leverage on these skills, like people that come from Web2 security, right? That have more knowledge about OPSEC or penetration testing, and people that come, for example, from being developers in Web2 or developers in Web3. Do you think that they have each group has their own advantages?
Yeah, obviously the developers know how to read code, so they understand it much quicker. Even if you haven't written or read Solidity, it's if you are a developer, you almost immediately understand it, even though you need to learn the EVM in depth. But anybody needs to do this anyway, who hasn't been part of the Ethereum ecosystem. And yeah, Web2 researchers have this attacker mindset. They know how to hunt bugs. They know what a vulnerability is. This is good. So each has their pros and cons. But yeah, Web2, being a Web2 researcher is certainly better, in my opinion, because they also know a little bit of code, and it's easier when you have the attacker's mindset. This is why we have seen more success from Web2 researchers than from developers, in my opinion. But really, in the end, it doesn't matter that much. It matters, the individual matters and his efforts. This is what makes a difference. The other things are just fluff, just good to chat, good to have a discussion around it, but it doesn't matter when it comes to the individual level.
Nice. So having said this, which one would you say are the most important skills from a person? Like having worked with teams, but also starting your own company. If you say, okay, these are the two most important things I look for in a person that wants to work with me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good that you said that, because it really matters. What's the most important skills for which goal? If it's being a great security researcher, if it's making money, if it's working with me, it's much different. Everything is different. When it comes to working in Pashov Audit Group, it really matters that you're a great security researcher. This is what really matters, because we pride ourselves on the quality of our work. This is really a value of ours, that we do great work, and our clients are very happy and they come back to us and they refer us to other people. So this is the most important thing. You just need to be a great security researcher. And to be a great security researcher, you have to have the other skills to be basically unbreakable, to continue keep pushing when it's hard, and yeah, to have a lot of experience basically with security audits.
Nice. So do you think it would have been possible without being known in the industry already for you to launch Pashov Audit Group, or how was this switch? How did it work for you?
I can say that certainly if I wasn't well known, I wouldn't named it after my name, which is Pashov. I named it Pashov Audit Group because it was already a brand. I had around 20,000 Twitter followers, so people knew this name and it was recognizable. But yeah, it would have been much different. I see people now launching security companies, people who are not that well known, and it's so much harder. And they're not well known because they're not good at marketing, they're not good at sales, and this is another thing why their business is not doing that well, because they cannot find another person that will do this as a business owner, because they wouldn't be, or they would have just a part of the company. And yeah, I mean, if you are not well known, if you don't have those marketing skills, it's like 10 times harder, a lot harder. But still, is business. There is business even for those small brands who are just pushing, who are just brute forcing it. Those guys are still making some good money, still making a living out of it. But I wouldn't say you can be rich this way. I wouldn't say you can be wealthy, you can live a good life. You would still be an employee in your business. So this is a different lifestyle.
Perfect. So, like, now I will make you 3 questions in one, right? Like, what did you find most difficult from switching from being an independent auditor to running a security auditing company? And for example, do you miss auditing contracts because you are perhaps not doing that too much nowadays? What was the hardest part about launching a boutique Web3 company? And from everything that you learned, what are the mistakes that you should avoid that you would avoid in the future, or you would recommend someone to avoid when building a brand, right?
Okay, so what is the hardest thing first that when I started a security company? Yeah, the thing that you said, that I had to stop auditing basically so I could focus on business. This was very hard for me because I'm naturally a technical person. I Every day I read at least one or two technical articles and I found them really interesting. I understood really well how everything works. And right now I feel like it's not the same exactly. I'm a bit rusty on this part. I have done much better in business because of this, because I focus my efforts there. But yeah, I'm not so good technical right now, and it's a pain. I mean, I love to be very good technical. This was part of my personality, but this is very important to be able to grow as a person, to be able to grow as a human. If you stay in the same place, you're basically dying. So we're getting a bit philosophical, but I think this is really important. You need to grow, you need to move forward. Yeah, I have a saying. It's a popular saying that to make an omelet, you need to break the eggs. So you just have to break the eggs. That's it. Yeah. For the next
Then,
question.
what
Yeah.
was the hardest part about launching a Web3 as a company, or which one is still?
Yeah, there were so many hard parts, so many running a business. I mean, I make it look easy a little bit, but I make it intentional. I fought so many demons, so many bad thoughts, so many people saying that it couldn't be done, or it wouldn't work, or it's not good enough. The hardest thing was basically exactly this fighting demons, which I would call basically your own thoughts that tell you you couldn't make it. For example, that hiring is too hard. For example, that you don't deserve to charge a higher price, that clients are not happy with the service, that your auditors are not doing a good job, that you can't find really good auditors to work with you. All of those beliefs, breaking them and overcoming them, this was the hardest part, definitely. But I did break them. I did fight those demons off, and now it's much easier. But still, on every level in business, you have to fight new demons, and now I'm on the next level. So yeah, I need to break new beliefs.
Nice. And some mistakes that you did and that you would avoid if you could talk to yourself from the past. Simple things that
Yeah,
you would avoid.
when it comes to business, not really sure, because I'm in business, especially when it comes to Pashov Audit Group, for just 8 months now, I think. So we haven't done too many mistakes. Actually, we have done almost everything perfectly. We have done 70 audits in 7 months or something, or even more than this. I have lost count. I need to check, but we have done really well. Maybe in the first 1 or 2 months we started a little bit slower than I wanted, and I know that, for example, I can give you some alpha here. If you create more content and it's good content, valuable content, your business will do better if it's tied to this content. So if I start posting more and more valuable content, I will have more clients. So I could have done this before, and I would have sped this process even more. But yeah, I wouldn't call this a huge mistake. For now, we're doing really well. I just hope we continue this way.
Excellent. That's a nice advice. Content is king and will always be king.
It makes
So-
a difference.
Yeah. So less than a month ago, you tweeted that you were starting as an angel investor, right? So what excites you the most about investing in new companies? Are you planning to focus on other security companies, Web3 protocols? What's your take, and why did you decide to do this?
Investing is basically a very fun game. It's a lot more like a casino, I would say, but the odds are not that much against you. It's not like the casino is always winning, the house is always winning. Sometimes you win. I have analyzed crypto, and I have seen a lot of people that have created the biggest, amassed the biggest wealths, have been from investing, from trading, from things like this. So I started getting more interested into this, especially long-term investing, because it has so many benefits. First, it trains your brain to fight your cognitive biases a lot. I feel like investing is a game of beating your biases. Not every time. This doesn't mean if you don't have any biases that you'll be 100% rational and you take only good decisions. A lot of things you cannot see in the future, you cannot foresee, but still you'll do much better if you think more rationally and not emotionally or being biased. So this is a very interesting thing. It can make you more intelligent depending on your approach. Also, you meet a lot of people, and you meet a lot of important people, a lot of people with whom you can do business. And especially with me, I have a security company. If I meet protocol founders, they are my clients. So this is an obvious thing to do. I mean, it makes sense. I need to know those people, and we can have good partnerships. I can invest into their protocol. They can work with my company for security services. It's an obvious win-win situation. So this is a great thing. And yeah, of course, really, you what can I say? I did some research, and for example, Solana has done more than 1,000x from their seed round. Now they're a big outlier in this statistic, obviously, but still, imagine if you put in like what is it, $1,000. If you put in as a seed investor, you would have been a millionaire just from this investment. And some people put in 100k, some people put in 500k. So this is absolutely crazy. This is generational wealth. This is really life-changing money from which you can retire and be rich everywhere. So this is something that you should pay attention. This is very important in my opinion. And yeah, I started doing investing. I have been an angel investor into 11 projects, I think now, something like this. And yeah, with small check sizes, let's say 10 to 30k, something like this, between 10 and 30k. Nothing too special, but yeah, it's a fun game. It's a fun game that I like. And if you are great with crypto, if you understand crypto, it's a good place to invest your money, in my opinion.
So, do you invest in companies or projects that you have audited or not? Because, I mean, investing in projects that you have audited sends a strong signal, right? Because you're putting your money back in your research. But perhaps that's not the case always.
Yes, so most of the companies that I have been an angel investor into, we have done an audit for, yes, and I have started to like them after we did an audit because they had a good code base or something. Not always. There are companies that we found a lot of issues, and I still was an investor to them, which is fine because I like the team. But yeah, there are projects that I just serve as an angel and invested like $10,000 because I like the product, I like the team and everything, and we haven't done a security audit with them because they have already been audited by another company. But yeah, most of the time we audit this company that I invest into. Still, I wouldn't say I have thought about this a lot, and I wouldn't say that it aligns incentives as a lot of people try to play it off, because this is my money that I invest. This is money I invest as a solopreneur. I'm not investing from the company or from wherever, and it's my money. And the audits, even though I'm the leader of the company and I make sure every audit is done in really high quality, is the auditors that do the audits. So I wouldn't say it really aligns incentives perfectly, but yeah, I mean, when a code base is really secure and the product is good, I would love to invest.
And what's your style of investor? Let's say it depends on the protocol or the company, or you like to be like I don't know, in their weekly calls or in their monthly calls, or you just invest and you trust the founder and you get like a monthly report and you follow it. Because I mean, if you invest in 11 companies, it's not easy to be updated with all of them, right? We have limited time, as we said.
Yeah, most projects that are being run well send a monthly report for a monthly investors update, send an email. I read this usually. I'm not really a hands-on investor because I'm a minority investor. I mean, in neither of the companies that I invest into, in neither one of them I own a single percent. I own less than 1% of the company, which is a very, very minor stake. And nobody cares about my opinion too much. I mean, I try to help with anything I can when they need to hire people, for example, developers or technical people, when they need security services, when they need some other things that I can help with. But apart from this, yeah, I'm just hands off, reading the updates, checking their Twitter pages and stuff like this, and just waiting to see how this plays out. Support them on social media. That's it.
Perfect. You just talked a bit about incentives, right? What do you think about companies that offer tokens in exchange for audits, like fully, like I want to pay you for the audit, but I can pay you in tokens, or as part of the payment? So what do you think about this? It depends on the auditor, it depends on the company. I mean, it depends on many things, but what's your general take on this?
My general take on this is we don't do those type of deals. Before we didn't do them. At some point, I thought they might be a good choice, but they really aren't, in my opinion, because first of all, most companies don't yet have a token, and if you want to be an investor or if you want them to pay you with tokens, they basically need to create a document which is called an SAFT, a SAFT, basically simple agreement for future tokens or for tokens, something like this. And yeah, when you just be providing a service instead of doing a payment for them, this brings a lot more work creating a different document, stuff like this. It doesn't work really well actually in practice. If they already have a token and if it's in a good price, with a good price, and they can give you the token with some kind of a discount and some lockup time or something, this can be a good thing. But still, it's harder to account for you dump their tokens, which is not really good for the project. It's rarely a good fit. For now, I have been part of probably 150 audit deals. All of them have been gotten paid in USDC and or USDT. Every one of them, maybe one or two in ETH or something, but this wasn't good. So only stablecoin, that's good enough. And from then on, you can pay them for tokens or you can buy on the market or whatever. That's perfectly fine.
Perfect. That's a nice take. So, last question. Security is evolving all the time. Things are changing, news every day. So, there's a lot of information, right? It's full of information, perhaps too much. So, what do you do to try to be updated on this stuff? So, are there any specific Twitter accounts that you follow or newsletters that you read? And then regarding the same things, how do you choose conferences and events to attend? Because there are also a lot, right?
Yeah, you can on this crypto Twitter is good enough, definitely. Everything that you read on any newsletter or wherever, it's on Twitter already. So if you spend multiple hours a day, as I do, on Twitter, you catch up with everything, with every news, and especially when you follow the right people. I follow more than 1,000 people now. Anybody can check who I follow, I believe. And yeah, those people give me a good news feed on Twitter to know what's happening, what's going on, especially in the security space. So that's good enough for me. This has been good enough to keep track. I have some subscriptions for newsletters, but lately I haven't been reading those anyway. So newsletters are good, but a lot of times you stop reading them and you just ignore them in your email. So they're not the most perfect thing. In Twitter, you go every day, so that's good enough. When it comes to conferences, the biggest conferences are usually the best ones. Everybody is going to the same conferences each year. I mean, same conferences are getting the most attention each year, so you need to go to those. This year, I decided to go to maybe maximum 1 or 2. Just to stay focused on work, because sometimes you start losing a lot of time, a lot of energy into conferences, and you don't need to do this. So yeah, I'll probably go just to ETH Sofia, which is the conference in Sofia, where I live in Bulgaria. But yeah, ETCC is great. ETH Denver I know is great. Now DEFCON, which will be in Thailand, I think, is another great conference. But everybody knows which are the good conferences anyway. So yeah, conferences are nice. You really meet people there, definitely. But you have to really think about who will be doing your job while you are gone, because this is also important. So yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. They add lots of value, but they also take lots of time. Yeah. Totally agree. Well, we have talked about many things. I learned a lot, and I think that everyone who is now listening to us too. So, is there anything else you'd like to add or to say before we finish? For me, it has been a great time.
Yeah, for me, it has been a great time as well. What can I say? I'm very happy with how the Web3 security space is growing for the past 2-3 years that I have been part of it, for the past maybe 2 years, especially. Yeah, probably a lot of security people will be listening to this conversation. I would love to talk to the smartest and brightest minds from them. Everybody can reach out to me on Twitter, Pashov Krum, or just Pashov. You should find me easily. And my DMs are open. Come say hi. And yeah, would love to work with anybody that we have a fit. This is a good thing.
Great. Yeah, and you can also check Pashov Audit group at pashov.net. Very nice website.
Yes.
So, many thanks for your time, for being here, and thank you for everyone that is listening to us. So this has been the Blockchain Security Series episode 13 with Pashov, founder of Pashov Audit Group, security auditing company. So thank you everyone and goodbye. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Blockchain Security Series, the podcast where the future of Web3 security unfolds. Presented by pablito.eth.